evening, good people. Welcome to another 203K Tuesday. I'm your host, Aaron, the house person, and this is the place you come to find out everything you don't know about the 203K loan and learn how to use that loan to help create, build, and sustain generational wealth. So, y'all know what it is. Y'all know how I do. It's about those industry partners, right? That 203K starting line up. And the point guard, as you may or may not know, you should know. If not, go back to previous episodes and check that one out, the starting lineup episode. But the point guard is your realtor, that person who you're gonna have assembling the team. Again, it's your team, right? But the realtor has those connections that can, fill that team roster out, right? And it's very important that you have a realtor on deck who is experienced with the 203K process. But not only that, just, overall there for you, right? Being that facilitator, that person who's going to make sure the I's get dotted and the T's get crossed. So that being said, I want to bring my guest on today, Miss Dana Jones with Dior Realty Group up there in Illinois. I think she's got. You might let me find out if she's in the Chi or just right outside of it. But let's bring Dana in. Dana, how we doing today?
I am doing well. It's Friday and a closing day. So yeah. On my first 203K for the year, actually, is today. So yeah.
Okay. Talk about. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So you are you actually in Chicago or like right outside?
Yes. I'm in Chicago, but yet I service all of Illinois in general. So wherever you need me to go, I go.
Okay, I know that's right. All right, so what I like to do, I typically like to jump right into the questions because oftentimes some of the answers that will be some of the things that you would normally say like at an intro are going to be answered in the question. So just jump right into it, and then after that we talk about you, your business, and just anything else real estate related. That's cool?
Got it. Let's go.
All right. So first question, do you know the 203K process from start to finish, and can you explain it?
Yeah, I do more of the realtor work. So I am learning more about what the lender does because what we learn as a realtor, we have to be involved in every aspect because sometimes it's just literally calling the lender and saying, oh, look what's going on. But yes, first of all, you just want to find a property that would have some equity if you chose to rebuild it, right? In the Chicago market, it's a seller's market. So you have a lot of properties that's literally people are bidding like, $20,000 and $30,000 over and still getting rejected. At the same time, we're competing with people coming in from like California buying up all of our different properties. And so sometimes you got to go find that raggedy property in an okay neighborhood, as long as it has, I think, they call it a slit or something. What do you call it? The slab?
Oh, the slab, yeah.
You can build on it, right? And at that moment, we looking for that property that we build it or have the equity. And that's my job, to find that property. And then once we find it, I try to do A through Z. So I'm making sure I have the lender who knows what they're doing. I want to make sure you have a contractor who knows what they're doing and who actually knows how to do the paperwork. I also may need a HUD consultant, and we may need, different stuff like architectures and things. Architecture, structural engineer, things like that. But if you have a good contractor, if you got a good HUD consultant and a good lender, you can move forward. My job is to find that and make sure we get that.
Okay. All right. Sounds like at least a little bit. Nah, you got it. So as far as being a realtor, how long have you been an agent?
Actually, 3 years, actually a little bit over 3 years, but I've been in real estate forever. My father was a contractor, did many buildings all over Chicago. My brother is a contractor as well. Even, one is an inspector, and my brothers literally were taught from a very young age how to build a home from ground up. So I come from a family of builders, so it makes sense to me.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So that definitely makes sense because I found that most realtors kind of stay away from 203K. Most don't really even know, can't explain it. So the fact that you're just, 3 years licensed, but like,
Hmm.
dove right in, that's an amazing story. And it makes sense because you got that background of seeing things being built from the ground up,
Yeah.
just being in that space. So, okay.
Yeah, I'm the girl who, built my kitchen table. I come from that. And for me, it just makes sense. But you got to get people let them know that it can be done. And the only way you can really do it is if you know and trust your team to get it done and be able to convince the client that this can be done. And there's other steps to it. I'm sure we'll get into it as we go.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay. So, would you be considered a full time or part time realtor?
Only full time. I have my opinions about many people who do it part time, but people have to do what they have to do. But full time, this is how we eat. So we go all the way in from A to Z. Yeah.
All right. And if someone's working with you, would they be working with you like individually, or are you like on a team?
No, individually, but if uh, I haven't needed any help beyond the people who do the 203K, their processes. However, as business gets busier, that's when I, talk to my brokerage and we're going to pull some people in to maybe do showing stuff like that. But other than that, nope, it's all me.
Okay. Okay. One stop shop. So I got it. No worries. I got you. All right. So, and you kind of alluded to it a little bit as far as being in that space. But are you yourself a real estate investor, or do you work with them, or do you work with them?
Well, I work with a lot of investors. I've owned real estate myself, but where I am right now, business is so busy. I'm either a selling agent or a buyer's agent. We also do tax certificates, wholesale. So I'm busy in that. And to be good at something, you need to focus. So not ready to flip right now. Although, like I said, I've got, family members and other people doing stuff around me. So I just help assist and so forth.
Okay. Well, no, I mean, and the answer, what the answer is, everything, everyone understands that.
Yeah.
Well, you're busy. Like I've been looking, so you stay
Yeah.
busy. So I completely understand that. But just knowing that you work with investors, that means
Oh,
that further,
absolutely.
yeah. So that further means that you understand that renovation space. Period.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Definitely. Also, we do a lot of flip, buy and flip.
Hmm.
So I'm closing on one of those next week. Well, we bought it. Matter of fact, I'm going to do an inspection today on one where we already know we're using hard money
Hmm.
to make sure we buy that property. And then we're going to, build it up, possibly put it on the market and or hold, because some of them hold it as well. So depends on what their goal is.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. So yeah. So you got the K side of things, and then as far as just investing in general, you're helping people in those spaces. So just renovation. Period. So
Yeah.
okay.
Renovation period.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, what would you say is the most challenging part about the 203K process?
Um, Identifying your team is always important. Matter of fact, when I first got in real estate, I couldn't understand why everybody was so cliquish. I used to be like, why? I thought, everybody's free love. What's going on? But I realize now that your team is everything. Like your team will make and break you. Okay. So you got to make sure you know who is the top dog in the 203Ks. You got to know who is a great HUD consultant, a great inspector, a great and then the most important, and this part, the contractor. Because the contractor, if they don't carry this thing through or got too many different jobs, it can take it to a whole nother level. You know what I mean? Or if
Right.
they dish the job, it's a problem. So the most challenging thing is making sure you have a good enough reputation so that the people who you bring on, we're honoring each other's space. You know what I mean? And we're going to get it to the end.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry about that little
No, it's fine.
difficulty. Hit the wrong switch. But no, you're absolutely right. Having that team in place
Ooh,
is it's
everything.
everything. We're gonna go with that.
Everything. Because if if I do my job and you do yours, it's just much easier. If I have to keep going back and, you know, ask questions, and we have stopped deals where it's like, look, what's going on? Explain to me what's going on the appraisal. Why is it this much money per square feet and not this? Like, it's all these little intricate things that you got to learn, and each project is different. I don't care what nobody says. So when people be like, I've been in this 20, 30 years. Okay. Because they still make a mess too sometimes, or they don't do their due diligence as well, or they don't realize that you can be in a business for years and literally there's just a different situation that pops up and surprises us all. So
Absolutely.
team,
Always learning. Always gonna be learning.
yeah, always, yeah.
So as far as loan officers up that way, do you have any like preferred ones that you work with that you care to mention?
Yeah, I have so far I'm working with Natasha Robinson and a lady named Stephanie, I think So is the last name. Loan Depot and Guarantee Rate are two big ones in Chicago for 203Ks here. And that's because they already have a system. And so that works for us. And like I said, we don't really care about the problems. I'm looking to find out, are you a communicator? That's another thing too. It gets tight sometimes. Can we get on that phone, do a three-way, whatever we need to do to get to the bottom of why we're stalled? What do we need? I'm not just looking for a lender who, stops in the middle of the deal. Tell me what we got to do to close, right? I want you to be as eager as I am to close. And I need you to not just stop. I've had lenders stop in the middle of something. Oh, underwriting said this. I don't want to hear that. What I want to hear is, have you done everything? If you haven't done everything, you haven't done enough. And so we don't care about the problems. We may fuss at each other a little bit or not understand, have to send an email or two, or we like, yo, get this done. But it's about, can we communicate through the deal, make sure everybody's playing their part, and get it to close. At the end of the day, get it to close. It's the number one mantra.
Get it to close. I like it. Now I love it. Get it to close.
Yeah.
So one of the things I saw on the endorsement summary list that you guys up there in Chicago are rocking with K's. Like, it's a lot of K's going on up there.
Oh yeah, because the market is so crazy because, like I said, it's a seller's market. So the sellers are not giving buyers any leeway. They like, some of them are not. Like, if you get some equity, like the deal I'm closing on today, he walking in $20,000 worth of equity. Everybody doing that. They squeezing you for everything. So also the 203K allows you to build your equity, right? So you can determine what that can be versus if you buy a property that's already together, you're paying for somebody else's creative intellect, right? So you got to pay for that extra bathroom that may have taken you 10 grand to do or 5 grand to do. No, now they charge you an extra 15, 20 because that appraisal came out and they just added some knobs that was high end. So teaching people to build their own equity and that they can do it, is what it's about. You got to have a certain type of personality to not be afraid to do something like that.
Facts. Complete facts.
Yeah.
All right. So as far as, because we mentioned contractors, you got a good crew up there that you
Yes.
work with?
Yes. And so I make sure, definitely got a good team, but I'm also always asking for other people to do other things because the more you grow, you got one dude doing a $200,000 deal and you put them on another $200,000 deal and something else comes up. You better have a team that continuously grows, but you're watching people's reputation. You're asking questions, you're getting the proper referrals. And also because once you get into 203Ks and begin to, advertise any type of construction, then your DMs blow up because everybody needs a contractor in general. I'm getting a bathroom done. I'm getting the kitchen done. Can you refer me? So after a while, you just become a resource, for people. And so you just want to make sure your team is great and popping. And then I'm watching you. Are you really doing what you say you're going to do? Are you following up with the people I give you? And each person is different. You got the handyman who can't do the 203K, but maybe he can dust, like buff some floors. And then you got the contractor who is good. He can't do a 203K. But then you have the one who knows that he needs to come out, take the time, do the bid, be able to properly, do the line items, and then submit it and know how to draw the money down. So yeah, it's levels to this.
It's levels. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
All
So I
right.
know a little something.
Say that again.
I said I know a little something. A little something.
Yeah, just maybe a little bit, maybe a little bit. So I know you said you're closing on one today, and outside of that one, are you working on any other case right now?
Yeah, I got 2 more so far. And I tried to convince other people, but like I said, somebody, it's a certain type of buyer, right? Certain type of income sometimes, certain type of life experience. If people been doing hard things their whole life, it ain't nothing to do with 203K. Some people are not doing it, they don't care what nobody say, and yet they still want their dream home, and not understanding it is literally just the process away. But yeah, I got 2 big ones. I'm talking about like they in the 200,000. So straight, gut rehab going in. But then we also, like I said, we have the flipping, we have the buy and flips as well.
Okay. Okay. Now, for someone who says, okay, Dana sounds like she's experienced. She sounds like she knows what she's talking about. But I want to talk to a few people that she's worked with. Would you, be able to give people some references to call and
Absolutely.
say, okay, okay,
Absolutely. I mean, I'm passionate, extremely passionate. I didn't just start off with real estate. I was in corporate America. I'm an author, so I've always gotten the business and moved up or do the things I need to do, because it's just about wanting to do a good job, and I'm expecting that from my colleagues and my peers in this business and in this industry. So, yeah, I know who's who in the business. Put it like that.
gotcha. So, okay, to kind of transition, so you mentioned corporate America, and I think I saw that you have like a background in health, and that's
Yeah, I used to
you
be a account manager for Aetna as health. I used to be a massage there. I've done a couple things.
done a couple things. So, what brought on the switch to real estate?
Real estate was always in my backbone anyway. Like I said, I came from that, but I was in corporate America. Um, Came out of corporate America. I have a big personality. You don't always fit everywhere. You know what I mean? You got to sort of move on from different places, because sometimes you just got a big personality, and a big personality definitely needs to is part of being in real estate or in some form, because you got to be able to hit some heavy hitting things. Okay. Um, when I left corporate America, I went to work for FEMA for a little while, and then I began working with this guy named Lamont with Champagne Closing. So I had with me having a background in real estate, I began to work with other realtors doing this thing called Champagne Closing. We would bring champagne to the uh, to the closings. And like all things, I've always felt like, why be the nurse when you can be the doctor, or why be teacher when you be the professor.
Mm.
And I'm like, yo, I know this background. I'm talking to all these realtors. Let me just go get my license. And so that's how I got started in terms of being official in it, right? But by this time, my father was already building things. My brothers were already doing things. And then it just fit my personality, because you gotta be able to handle some things. And all my background and all my, degrees and corporate America experience, it all just worked out in real estate. And then I found my niche.
Mm. Why be the nurse when you can be the doctor? I like that.
Right.
I like
I
that.
just was like, let me go, it was fun pouring champagne, because it was what I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do.
Mm.
And I've been to corporate America, but I also worked for the city. And I literally been on a job in all my years, like I've only been on a job, like actually in the office 3 years.
Mhm.
So I even went to work for FEMA. So, and I did really good there too, inspecting homes. So, I just, I like those. I'm an entrepreneur, just true and true. So,
Man, so okay. FEMA inspecting homes. So like the disaster areas, you travel, go check out the house, make sure.
yeah, I left I'm sorry, I left uh the healthcare. I was with Aetna a little bit, worked a little bit for Blue Shield. I forgot Blue something. Either way, go.
Oh, Blue
I ended up
Cross.
going to FEMA. Yeah, Blue Cross Blue Shield. I ended up going to FEMA because it just came around to me that they were hiring. And I was like, let me go. And it's just something, literally something told me I was going to go. And I just went, filled out the information, flew to Dallas. I ended up working in Florida. It was the best experience ever. 96.4. My look, I had good scores. Nothing got sent back. Okay, so I did 200 homes in like 2 weeks, even though I was there for a little bit longer because they kind of got to send you places. You got to pass all these tests or whatever. But had a ball. It was the best experience ever, ever. So
200 homes
home,
in 2 weeks.
yep, and kick butt. You hear me? They still call me like, "Yo, you coming back? You want?" And I'm like, oh, I can't leave my clients down. So that's some good money for 2 weeks though. But I was there for five and a half, and I came back because my family they couldn't deal without. You go away, your family like they didn't do too well. They was like, "Yo, when you coming home?" But I could have always went back. They've called me several times. So.
Wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't even know that was a thing. So not only is it a thing, you went down there, did the thing, 200 houses, 2 weeks,
A ball, yeah.
and had a
I
ball.
was in homes though, because I used to work for the city with social work. I mean, as a social worker, I always was in people's homes. Like I always homes with everything, people and how they relate and how they live, everything. So, um, this is just like the culmination of everything I've ever done. So,
Yeah, it really is. I was just about to say, so you really have been around real estate, period, regardless of what you were doing. It's like I'm still around real estate.
I'm that friend to come in and be like, "Why is that picture over there?" Decorating, decor, just everything about a home was always interesting to me. But because I am a contractor's daughter, um, I always saw the beauty where other people didn't see beauty in houses. It's like, I walk into a space that's vintage. Like my house is modern vintage. It's a historically architecturally, a home, architectural home. So I saw it and I'm like, man, there's so much I could do here. And even I don't care how old the house is, I always see the beauty in it.
Mm-hmm.
But buyers don't always have that imagination. They have a certain price point, they feel like they deserve everything. And you can, but you gotta do things, you gotta know there's alternatives as well.
Mm-hmm.
So and the 203K allows that if they're willing to take that journey. I'm not gonna tell you it's easy. It's not, right? Because all deals, we're the realtors, but all deals have so many layers. Sometimes I wake up like mad, like I got to deal with other people and their work ethic. But but that normally comes when I have to deal with people who are not a part of my team. It's like um, um, waking up and you get a new buyer and they got a certain type of lender that you're not used to, and you're like, oh, or a certain lawyer they're not used to.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, it's just a process. They're not easy. We're gonna learn, you go into a process and learn there's something going on with the roof. But when it's finished, as in all real estate deals, that sigh of relief is everything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Okay. Man, that's all right. So you mentioned author. Can you talk a little more about the author piece?
Yeah, I wrote books. I started out just writing a memoir, like a fictional memoir. I won't tell you which part is real. And I did that back in like 2010. But then I wrote a couple memoirs as well. Because, like I said, people have always been my business. I just like people. My bachelor's in social work, my master's in training and development. I'm a certified life coach. Like people and how they live and the quality of life they've lived has always just been a part of everything. So, one thing I began to do is write memoirs because I felt like people die with their stories not being told. So, once again, it's a collection of everything I've ever done. Understanding people is a real big part of real estate. Understanding, because you got good people and you got some bad people who will try to pull it. You know what I mean? So you better be careful. I could do a whole series on behind the scenes of real estate. So yeah.
So that you just put that in the air. A whole series about behind the scenes of real estate.
Man, it's a lot. But people don't understand I'm a writer too. So as a writer, so I'm capturing everything. I'm capturing the good, the bad, the ugly, all of it. But I'm interpreting. But really it's just we're selling education, we're selling hopes and dreams and concepts and the American dream, wealth building. It's all those things that's involved, but it also is your ability to deal with people. So my whole history has been people. I tell people are my business. So they got to trust you and know and trust your knowledge in something. And even then, like I said, there's no perfection in it. It's just really, are you willing to stand with me while I go through this process, or stand up for me as I go through this process of building my home, purchasing my home, etc.
Mm.
People notice.
So you didn't drop the whole lot of gems today, a lot of bars too. Just dropping them.
Okay.
So the champagne closing, what, like, how did you come about that? And because I saw
So
some bottles, I saw pictures with you in bottles. I'm like, okay, I'm not sure what's going on, but I'm definitely gonna ask. So
So no, Lamar Ellaby is a person who created and put together champagne closings. When we would, it's a part of the ADT family, and as a result, we would go and pour champagne if you took the service of ADT at your closing. It's a very fancy thing we were doing. He was already a part of my family through my sister-in-law, and so he was needing help, and I went on ahead and joined in with him, and it was wonderful. It was a great thing. We had a good time doing that for a long time, but then I graduated to a realtor, and he continues to do that as well as sell ADT. So it's still an ongoing thing.
okay,
We
okay,
loved it. It was fancy.
yeah, it did look
But it
fancy.
also
Like,
allowed me to know the other advantage to that, though, was it allowed me to know who all the realtors were. So when I came into the business, I probably shot up real fast or faster because I already knew a lot of the realtors because I, began pouring champagne and going to their closings way early on. So one thing you do as any student is in general is you learn, you listen to people talk and go, okay, this is cool. And I do that still. When I'm doing an inspection, I'm with that inspector, unless I got something else going on. I'm with that inspector, walking through that house with him, learning the things about a house. When you have a HUD consultant, you walk with that HUD consultant and go through that house, find out what you need to know so that you can be better educated for your clients. Because, right, the more information you know, the more they're comfortable to move forward with you. And you're going to learn a lot on the 203K. Even the one that we got coming up soon, learning about that appraisal, how to understand it. Why is it, something is so much money per square feet, understanding how it is, how that that you think they're doing it on the ARV, is not. They're doing it on the cost of the project. And that's a whole nother conversation. But understanding what does that mean in terms of how your comps will come out. How does the appraiser do the comps, and how does that affect the 203 value in the end? So it's so many different dynamics that you get thrown into that you don't even want to be thrown into, but that's what makes you better.
absolutely, yeah. Learning all those different steps, and like you said,
Mm-hmm.
taking that tour, walking with the consultant. I mean, again, you already have that background, but for those who don't, like other realtors, and and of course the actual consumer client, taking that tour with them, you're gonna learn so much about the house, how you can reshape a house, how you can make it make sense, and um, for those
Yeah.
who don't have that vision, kind of walking through and saying, okay, so this is where your bathroom's going to be. We're going to, blow that wall out, and then now your kitchen's going to, so yeah, laying that vision down for folks is very important. And then, like you say, taking that tour with the consultant is going to help you with that and empower you as the realtor to know, hey, when I walk in this house, I know that I can pinpoint this, that, and the other within a certain degree. And that definitely does allow me to be able to be more confident speaking to my clients, and give them more confidence in my abilities, because they may not know, but they hear me talking like, okay, yeah, Dana knows what she's talking about. Yep, yep.
Yeah, but
So
the thing about all things, it's just not knowing your team know what they're doing too. I mean, this a team. I mean, it's so many levels to real estate, not just the lender. It's the lawyer. It's the assistant to the lender who sometimes is doing the work when the lender ain't really doing the work. So you gotta get on the phone with them and make sure everybody's good. So it's just so many. The title company, man, I've got some crazy stories, but we live for it. People in real estate, we live for the adrenaline rush. It's an adrenaline rush when you finally get to closing, even though you was up the day before, just like praying that somebody don't do something crazy. But when you get done, it's like, whoo, thank you, Jesus.
right, absolutely. So
Mhm.
I noticed that you do a lot of multifamilies.
Yeah, as well. I
Um,
do everything. I do. I mean, people try to specialize, and it may work for them to specialize, but I mean, it ain't hard for me to multitask. It's not really hard. So I sell and I buy. I mean, I'm a seller's agent and I'm a buyer's agent.
mhm.
But I also do, like I said, single family homes, multi units. I do commercial. I sold a church. I actually sold a couple churches. Um, Tax certificates, wholesale. I do it all. We do it all.
Dana Jones, the one-stop shop. I know that's right.
There you go. That's what call me Catch Dana. Got to catch up.
Yeah, I was say, speaking of catch it took me a minute to catch you to get you here. So,
I know I was exhausted. Oh, it was a busy week. You know, sometimes it gets so busy you cannot breathe. Realtors will tell you. I've been telling everybody in this season, hug your realtor because we are going through it. And you know, like I said, the realtor is more than a realtor. They're a counselor. They carry you through the ups and the downs and the disappointments all day long. You got to tell the bad news even when you don't want to tell the bad news. Even though
mhm.
you may have done everything in your power to make something right, and it's not you.
Very true. Very true. We do have to be that bearer of bad news when there is some. The flip side of that, of course, is we get to deliver good news as well. But yeah, that the bad news side of things that can be a little tough, especially when you know you've done everything that you can do to help things move along in the process and do what they need to do, and then
Right.
to say, hey, such and such, uh,
You deal with
blah blah
everything. You
blah.
don't want to stress. It's um Deals are emotional, right? People have never done these things, never think they could ever do it before. So you better make sure you got yourself together. You know, you got to make sure you at the top of your game. You know, you can't eat. Look, I don't even drink. Like I haven't had a drink nowadays simply because literally a client gonna call me at 10 o'clock if they going through something or what they feel. You 10 o'clock at night, and I answer the phone if I can for sure. So just be prepared for the business. Prepare yourself.
Hmm, hmm, hmm. So I know, like I've talked to a few different people, various parts of the country, and I did hear you mention that inventory is pretty tight up there. How tight is it? Like,
Like going to see a house, 17 offers on one house, 100 offers on one house. Yeah, it depends on what it is.
mm, yeah,
Well,
that's
you know,
tight.
the higher you go, you got less people who can afford certain stuff. The
Hmm.
lower you go, you got more people who like, yo, a house 160, 180. That's the average house most of the time. And, you know, you may have 20 people go see that house. You put it down to 135, that's even more.
Hmm.
Um, if you could find a 203, 203K option for maybe 60, 70,000 though, and then maybe be able to put 200 in it in a price that may be worth 300,000. The problem is the competition in that as well, because investors know the value of something. So they're coming with their cash versus a client coming with their finance. So it's just a crazy time. But, people are getting deals. You just got to know how to put it together and you got to know how to have the right energy because they pick and choose who they want to deal with as well. So,
Very true. Very true. And that's why it's very important for folks who are assembling their 2 or 3K starting lineup to, that again, that I say the point guard is your realtor. So having the right realtor in place is really going to drive how that team operates. And
yeah,
they can assemble whoever they want. However, by leaning on your realtor and working with the people that they know, that way there's going to be synergy automatically on that team and give you that much more of a chance or better of a chance to succeed and have less stress along the way. So yeah, man, Dana
you're
Jones.
right. So yeah, it's the time. Like I said, nothing is hard. I tell people all the time, I don't care what you want to do, be a doctor, a realtor, whatever, but realtor isn't for everybody. You got to be able to deal with the ups and downs and the daily communicational issues or things that come up every single day. But nothing is hard. You just got to be willing to get past the hard part and
Hmm.
be able to hear clearly what the problem is. Because sometimes literally it's, you know, saying, I see the problem. How are we going to solve it? Right? You got to be able to solve that problem. But we need a structural engineer. We need to call the lawyer to understand this dynamic. Have we done everything we do? And
Hmm.
at the end of the day, if you've done all that, that's great. So it
Okay.
ain't hard. I make it. It's not hard. It's just what it is.
It's not hard if you a student and then you apply those
Thank
things that you've learned. So and again, if you got the assemble that right team, because for some folks they pulling their hair like, oh, I can't do this. But
yeah,
when you're
yeah,
patient and
all
and,
day.
and knowledgeable, it makes it that much more easier. So
Yeah,
um,
just learn your craft. And I always tell people say they want to sit down and ask me questions, but really I can't teach you passion and hustle. I can't teach you your ability to want to learn something. You may not be up at 4 o'clock in the morning, like you learning different stuff, or you're on the phone with Linda at 11 o'clock at night trying to understand what we lower price point just so we can fit in the construction, amount or bid or whatever. But it's not about, like I said, how hard it is. Are you willing to move forward and try to find a solution? As long as everybody is moving, because the buyer side could be moving, but the seller side stops. You know what I mean?
mhm.
So it's being able to give that information in such a way where everybody feels confident in moving forward. That's
Yeah,
all.
I love it. I love it. Um, So, question, because I know as far as like house hacking and things of that nature, for those who don't necessarily want to pay their own mortgage and they maximize the 2 or 3K loan, FHA in general, but 2 or 3K loan to get that duplex, that triplex, or that quad, like that particular portion of inventory, do y'all have like a lot of options, in up there for multi units, or is it like pretty limited?
Oh yeah, I mean the thing is, the market could be stale this week, and then 3 weeks later, 20 buildings come on the market. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Um, Sometimes we have off market, right? I'm supposed to see an off market today. I mean, but house hacking is really big, but you also got to be careful with house hacking. Are you prepared to be a landlord?
Hmm.
Can you handle it? A lot of people want to live in areas they can't necessarily afford, or um, they only want certain. You got to be open because see, wealth isn't built overnight. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I think about some of the major areas in Chicago. You talk to those people, they didn't live there first. They lived other places. They tell you about stories in other areas like, no, I used to live in this area before they got here. So having people understand that wealth isn't built overnight, right? I've seen many investors and house hackers, they live in a building, it might not be the best building in the world. Stay there for a couple of years, go buy a new one. You know what I mean? And they eventually get where they want to go. But sometimes to get their first loan, they've never bought a house before. They want everything in order. That's true, but we got to analyze what we can do. And or sometimes I tell people, just because you don't like one portion of the house, you can turn that project into a 203K. You may like every aspect of the house, but you don't like the kitchen. So if your budget is 250 or 300,000, and we find this house for 225, we can turn that into a 203K. Make sure you do just the kitchen and the bathroom, and you're still good, right?
Hmm.
And matter of fact, we like those even more because we're not doing an extensive project down to the gut.
Hmm.
So just teaching people their options. Oftentimes, buyers don't have the patience, but every now and then you get the ones who understand that this can be done, and you just it goes off.
And it's absolutely worth the wait, in my opinion, anyway. Uh,
Absolutely. And you build it the way you want to build it. You're not paying for somebody else's creative
mhm.
intellect, right? If I built that bathroom, I'm gonna make you pay a little bit more for it. I'm putting the extra charge on it. So that's what it is.
Yeah, now I love the fact that folks, especially because you got the HGTV craze, so a lot of folks are watching the various shows on there, and you get to go into whatever construction, Home Depot, Lowe's, whatever, supply store, and you pick your tile, you pick your backsplash, you pick, the hardwood floors you want, you pick, the cabinets, you pick the finishing touches. Like you can do all of that. You can design your kitchen as much as you want or as little as you want, based off of your comfort zone. You can lean on your contractor, your realtor, interior designer, whoever, right? But you get to make those selections. It's not the ones that are already there, and you're like, okay, well, I can deal with this. That looks nice. You make it what you want, and that is one of the best things that I really enjoy about it. It's like going into that new home, that new construction, right? And you got the design room. Go ahead and pick what you want. Even in the new construction, they give you limited samples. Like, all right, you get this package, that package, that package. We might can mix a little bit, but these are your choices. Nah, you got unlimited choices. Pick what you want. If you want to order it from Amazon and bring the tiles in, I don't necessarily suggest that, but if that's what you want to do, go right ahead. You want to bring your stuff in from Italy, Spain, Africa, whatever. Like, go ahead. You can do that.
Your
Go right
budget
ahead.
determines it. Yeah, your budget determines it. And listen, I remember a girl gave me a pre-approval for little. It was very small, and I remember thinking, I'm not. I found the girl a house. Like you, and the other part is this: you're gonna be in this place for a long time. That's not the thing. You're gonna be for a while. Not people. Not many people moving in 2 years, right? So you don't have to do everything right now. It's okay. Get in the area you want to get into. Get in. What's your goal? That's another conversation too. Like, what is your goal?
Mhm.
You want to build, you want to take this money that you're going to, you get from this, are you going to flip? What's your goal? What's your financing? Are you, doing a 203K? Are you doing hard money? Like, it's just so many other things that you have to look at and determine what's the value of this overall process that we're going through.
Facts. Facts. Man, well, look, Dana, I know you got a list of things to do today. So, absolutely appreciate you taking time out to speak to me, speak to the good people who are watching. For those who are in the Chicago area or nearby, and they say, you know what, I need Dana Jones as my point guard, I need her on my team. How can those people get in contact with you?
Well, I'm with Dior Realty Group, but my name, they know me as Tex Dana or Tex Dana Real Estate all over social media,
Okay.
but Tex Dana at Gmail. That's real
Okay.
simple. But my numbers, I have two, 773-495-3655, 556-5215. I think 773-495-3655. That's my
I think you got a call that came in or something. Say it one more time. You sound a little muffled.
uh 773. Okay, so I'm texting at Gmail, but also 773-495-3659. Like I said, I'm with Dior Realty Group, but if not, catch Dana at Real Estate on Instagram or catch Dana on Facebook. You can always DM me.
All right. So Dana just told you where you can catch her, right? Where you can go catch Dana. Again, Dana, I appreciate the time, and I
Yeah.
will, definitely be in contact with you.
Okay, I appreciate that, and thanks for bringing the spotlight to the 203 page. I've been preaching. So three out of the year, for the first 6 months was pretty good. I'm sure there's more that's gonna come. So looking forward to it. Okay.
Absolutely, absolutely. All
All
right,
right.
y'all. Thank you again, Dana, and thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys the next 203K Tuesday. Signing out.
Take care.
Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and ring that bell. Thanks for watching.